We are at the beautiful Santee Lakes here in San Diego, California. And whether you may be a first-time camper or a seasoned veteran, we're going to talk about what you're going to do in order to set up your RV. We're going to use this Class C behind us, and it does have one slide out. And we're going to go over showing you how to set that up so you don't run into headaches and you aren't frustrated at the end of this. Let's go have some fun. I've given you two really cool tools in order to set this RV up. So the first one is going to be located in the door, and that's going to be a handy dandy tape measure. Now what this is it's also written on this tape measure 36 inches on the front and also on the back. That is going to be the distance that you're going to want from any obstacles in order to get to the side of this RV, because that's how much this slide out is going to come out. We've gone one step farther and even gone to 36 inches and marked it as well, so you know exactly where it's at on the tape measure. Well, now that's easy, but we're gonna make it even easier. Located in the side compartment of the RV is going to be 3 cones. We're gonna take these cones and set them up 36 inches from any obstacles. That way we know when we're backing the RV into its spot, as long as we're even with the cones, we're gonna be good when we put this full wall slide out. Now you can do this with any RV. You're gonna wanna make sure that you measure your slide out first. Give it a couple inches just in case, and you'll be good to go. Now, sounds all great. Let's put it to use and see how easy this is. Luckily, in this particular camp spot, we're only going to have one obstacle, and that is going to be our utility box, which we're going to plug into later to have power in our RV. If you did have additional branches or anything in your camp spot, you're going to want to watch out for those as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape measure and come down here. I have my 36-inch mark on there. I'm going to go ahead and take my first cone, set it there at that 36-inch mark. I'm going to walk backwards now. I'm going to take my second cone. I'm going to come back to the back portion of the camp spot, and then I'm going to take my last cone and move that into the front area of the camp spot in line with this, and then I'm ready to park my RV. All right, so I've got my RV parked in the spot really nice. You can see that I'm parallel with my cones, and that's going to be key. Now the next thing I want to make sure is that my RV isn't sticking out into the street. We have a lot of kids riding bikes and playing, and we definitely don't want this sticking out in the front. Also in the back, we didn't go too far where we're putting the RV in the bushes located behind it, and we're still able to walk completely around the RV. The next thing we're going to do is head inside and see if the RV is level. We do also supply a level, and that is going to be in the door. Now, if you don't have a level, there are a ton of products that you can buy in order to put on your RV, little bubble levels as well. This is something that we're just gonna try. We're gonna go put this on the countertop inside the RV and see how level we are. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this level and we're gonna put it on the countertop 2 different ways to see how level we are. The first way we're gonna go is front to back, and you can see that we are pretty level, slightly higher in the back, which isn't too big of a deal. However, when we go side to side, we're gonna see that our driver's side is quite a bit higher. So I'm gonna show you how to level out your RV if you don't have stabilizing jacks on your RV. Let's head back outside. In order to level out the RV, you're gonna head back over to this driver's side compartment. Located in this compartment is a bag. This bag is going to be full of blocks that are going to be able to be stackable in order to get your RV to the desired height of levelness. So now it's time to head back over there, and you know what? We're gonna grab these cones and show you another great use to use these. So I really like the position of my motorhome, and I wanna make sure that it maintains the same position. So I'm gonna have to move the motorhome forward in order to put the blocks underneath it to roll it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this cone to mark the front and back tires, so I know the position in order to place the blocks to get it level. Once I have the cones out, I can move the motorhome slightly forward and start positioning the blocks under it in order to back up on it and level out the RV. So located in this bag is going to be several different blocks with also some ramps in order to make it easier to get up on it. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take 2 blocks along with a ramp, and we know that we want our wheel back here in this location. So I can go ahead and take this and set this up. So now I'll be able to roll, drive backwards, positioning my wheel right here on this block, helping to level out the RV. We're going to do the same thing now in the back. Another thing that you can do is you can take these blocks and you can interlock them together, making a triangle. That way when you back it up on it, they all stay together as well. So I'm going to put them under both and then use the secondary block to help me back up on there. So there we go. And once again, I put the blocks even with my cone. I'm ready to back up onto the blocks. All right, so now that we have it back up on the blocks, that's positioned really nice. As you can see, it always helps to have a second set of eyes, and that's where those kids come in really helpful. We're gonna head back inside now and see what that level looks like and if we did it good. All right, so as we come into the RV, when we go front to back, we are still really good, and that looks nice. Now the big thing is when we go side to side, and boom, that looks awesome. I'm excited. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hook up the power. Luckily, our power cord is going to be located right here, and our receptacle is going to be right next to it. We're going to take the silver key in order to open that up. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the cord out. Now this is going to be nice. It's going to have 2 different plugs, and I'm going to unplug this one because I'm not going to need this. However, if you're going to use your power in order to start getting your RV ready, such as getting your fridge nice and cold, you'll use this to plug into your house. However, I'm not going to need that anymore. I'm going to keep that in the compartment, I think. And now I'm going to come down here, and you can see that I'm going to have the same plug right here. I'm going to make sure the breaker's off at first and go ahead and plug that in and turn that breaker on. And now I'm going to have full power in the RV. I'm not going to need to use the batteries or the generator while I'm here camping, and that's going to be a plus. So the next thing we're going to want to do is hook up water to our RV while we're here at the camp spot. The benefit in doing that is that we're not going to be using the RV water that is stored on this while we're traveling. So located here back in this driver's side compartment is going to be a white hose. We're going to take this white hose and hook this up to the faucet, securing that tightly. Now what I can do is I'm going to run the hose all the way to the back of the RV. So in the back of this we have our city water connection, which is labeled right here. We're going to go ahead and pull the plug off of it, and then we're going to go ahead and tighten up the hose on there all the way. Make sure that that's nice and tight, and then we'll be able to turn the water on and have water in our coach the whole time without draining our tank. Now, we would think that we are done right there, but there still is one more step in this. Located in this rear compartment back here is going to be the valves that we're going to have to change. You can see why we haven't put the slide out though, is really making all of this a lot more easy and accessible. If the slide was out, we would be ducking, having to get underneath all of this, making it much more difficult. So located in the back of this, we're going to come here and you're going to see that you have different settings for where you're at. So since we are here, we have city fixtures. We're going to want this on 2 and 6. So we're going to change this dial up to 2 and this one back to 6. Now that that's done, we're ready to go ahead and turn the water on, which is going to supply the RV while we're here at the campgrounds. There it is, pretty easy. So now we have water going to our RV. The last thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to hook up the sewer hoses. That way we are able to easily drain the tanks. Next step, we're going to go ahead and hook up the sewer to the RV dump located here also at the campground. We're heading back over to this driver's side compartment, and in here is going to be the sewer hose. So we're gonna go ahead and take the hose and run this. Let me show you how to do that. So I grabbed both pieces of hose due to the distance we are from them. So located in the back of this, you're going to, before you hook this up or remove the cap, you're going to want to make sure that both of these valves are pushed all the way in. Once they are, I can go ahead and release the cap, and then I can install the new one. So because I'm going to need 2 sections of hose, I can put both of these together, clicking them all the way nice and tight. Now I'm going to run them over to the location of the dump here and go ahead and take that off. Now this, you can see, doesn't just go directly in there. You're going to need one more adapter piece also located in this cabinet. And we're going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to screw this in now. And now once that's screwed in, I can attach my green hose to it. So now everything is going to securely go in there. Now another thing that you're going to notice is I don't really like the way that this is kind of snaked and sidewindered up. So you do have one other thing located in this compartment. And this is going to be for your sewer hose. So once we take this clip off, we can go ahead, starting with it from the high side because that's the way we want the hose to drain. All right, so once we have the hose hooked up, our sewer hose hooked up, we want to do 2 things. We want to make sure that our black holding tank is going to be closed. We do not want to leave that valve open, otherwise feces and things of that matter will just stick to the bottom of the tank and never properly drain. We'll show you on the inside how to check the levels of those tanks. Now, if you're going to be showering and doing things of that nature, you can leave the gray water open in order to drain that. However, I'm going to recommend keeping both of them closed, keeping an eye and monitoring the insides of the tanks, just coming out maybe once every other day in order to drain both of these tanks. All right, so here located on this control panel, again, right inside the entry door, you're going to see that we have 2 buttons here. So you can press the black button. You'll see that it lights up, so it is only 1/3 full. And when I go to the gray, it's completely empty. So that's perfect. I can leave both of those valves completely closed until this gets more towards 2/3 or full. Then I'll go ahead and head outside and empty that. So now I have all of my hookups done. All right, so now that we have all our utilities hooked up to the RV, I'm gonna go ahead and put the slide out and get some room inside. All right, so 2 things that you're gonna wanna check before you do put out the slide. A lot of things can move while traveling. We're gonna wanna make sure all the drawers in the rear of it are all closed. That way that doesn't pull the molding off when sliding this out. The other thing that we're going to want to check is up front. The next thing that we're going to want to do is check this driver's seat. Of course, we want it to be really comfortable when getting to our camping destination. However, you can see that this seat is pushed up against this. So what we're going to do is just slightly move that forward, giving it a lot of room right there. That way, this little monster is ready to go for a ride when we put the slide out. All right, so the last thing that you're going to want to check before you put the slide out is you're going to want to make sure the engine is turned off and the emergency brake is applied. We're ready to go press the button and get this thing out. So you can see we have the slide out all the way out with a lot of room between the end of the slide out and the pole. We're not coming into contact with that. You can see as well, since I'm not 2 feet tall, I didn't want to be hooking up all of the utilities on my knees, and that's why it was a lot easier to do all of those things before I put the slide out. Well, now I got camp all set up, it's all out. I'm excited. I get to go enjoy the RV. If you guys have any questions about any of the things that we did or other tricks in doing this, please comment down below. I would love to hear how you guys do this. Otherwise, I'm Jeremy, and this is Setting Up Your RV.